If you were to look up the definition of a certified goofy goober, there'd be a picture of Lane Kiffin right next to it. I'm almost certain of it. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Lane Kiffin is nothing more, nothing less than the SEC's version of James Franklin. Here's my next question, and please let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. How much longer is Ole Miss going to put up with this cornball McGee? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Tuesday. Hope all of you having a Thanksgiving break. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, it ain't looking good in Oxford, Mississippi. But more importantly, and this is the biggest part about all of this, they got a Lane Kiffin problem, and they're currently having to deal with that. We're going to talk all about that in tonight's video, and another topic we're going to get into is something that's trending everywhere. North Carolina's head coach, Mack Brown, has just retired. You hate to see Mack Brown go. He was a legend, but here's a real question. Who's going to replace him? Strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing, but I'm Matt, blah, blah, should have kept up, not up for that, do! Let's get into it. Good video, Mort. Thumbs up emoji. Keep up the great work. Did this guy just call me Mort? What is a mort? Let's just get into the football stuff. I'm in a pretty good mood, so I'm going to let that one slide, but this is your warning. First things first, I'm going to talk about this for a couple minutes, if that. The breaking news came out only a few hours ago that Mack Brown, he's officially retiring. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. My apologies. I think I said this in the intro as well. I'm saying retired. No. He's being fired. Holy schmoly, I just made a big whoopsie daisy. Yeah, hope you guys understand. Hey, I'm human too, you know, mistakes happen. Oh man, I can't remember. Did I say retire in the intro? I don't know. It is what it is. I'm fixing it now. Well, my bad guys on that one, but either way, he's not going to be there. So what does this mean for North Carolina? And I guess what does it mean for Mack Brown? Will he retire after being fired? I guess I have to wait and see. Don't get me wrong. I think Mack Brown, he's done great things at North Carolina, won the championship at Texas. He had him at the top for a while, but I feel like it's time to go. That's just my take on it. If he wants to keep coaching, hey, I'm not against it. I just don't want to see him crash and burn. I don't want to see him go out like Celtic Shaq or something like that. I've been thinking about it, and I don't know what North Carolina's going to do next, because it's not like they're some premier brand. It's not like they're a blue blood, but they're also not bad. And heck, it's not even like they're average either. They're a relatively solid football program. I don't know. I really don't, and we'll leave it at that, but I can tell you this much. I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know in the comment section, who do you think North Kakalakis going to go after? Let's get a move on to the main topic of the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. What in the world's going on with the Lane train and Ole Miss? I shouldn't have to catch up to speed on things, but if you were living under a rock this most recent weekend, Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they blew it. They were in perfect in prime position to make the 12-team college football playoff and to make their first ever college football playoff, because they never even made the 14 playoff, and yet they squandered away the opportunity. All they had to do, is win one more game against Florida, and they were getting in. And I already know what some people are going to say. Well, Matt, what about Mississippi State? Come on, man. Mississippi State's awful this year. They ain't even won a game in the SEC. I think it's more unfair to say Ole Miss is going to handle those guys. And I know it's a rival game, and I'll be the first person to tell you when it comes to rival matchups and rival weekend, you can throw the record out the window, but this one's a little different because Mississippi State's in a complete rebuild. They just don't have the talent. I know they've kept some games respectable and close. For example, they put up 31 against Georgia. But I just don't see Mississippi State being able to hang with Ole Miss, and that's a different video for a different day. The point is, getting back on track here, Ole Miss, you just had to beat Florida, and you couldn't do it. Florida ain't a bad team. Whit Lagway in there, you can make a legit case and argument they're a top 25 team. But still, even with all that being said, Florida was in a down year. And on top of that, for Ole Miss, this was Lane Kiffin's best team. This was his best roster. It's not even up for debate. I remember like it was yesterday, Ole Miss fans tell me before the season, I agreed with them. This was their best team. If Lane Kiffin don't make it to the playoffs this year, he might not ever make it. Or not even make the playoffs, my apologies. If he doesn't win a championship this year, he might not ever win one, because I'm sure they'll make the playoffs. But as far as it goes for making the playoffs this year, not gonna happen, partner. And I personally feel like the only person to blame for this is the head coach, Lane Kiffin, the head of the totem pole. I stated this a couple of videos ago. I'm sure some of you remember. The day before the game, I was golfing with somebody, and they asked me, Matt, what do you think about the Florida-Ole Miss game? And I told them word for word, and I quote, the great thing about Lane Kiffin is he plays up to competition. The bad thing about Lane Kiffin is he plays down to competition. Therefore, I think it's going to be close, and I'm not going to be shocked if Florida pulls this out. And well, what do you know? Fast forward in time, we saw it. Florida won the game. And it's not so much that Florida won the game. Don't take anything away from them. It's more so of Lane Kiffin didn't have his guys ready to go. And let me make this clear. It's not just the Florida game. It's been every single game and every single year for Ole Miss since Lane Kiffin has been there. For example, let's just act like the Florida game didn't even happen. What about the other two this season? The 2 L's against Kentucky. Sorry and sucky Kentucky. And LSU. LSU stinks this year. How in the world did Ole Miss squander that game away against LSU? Oh, wait a minute. I know how. Lane Kiffin. That's how. It's as simple as that. Let me ask you another question, though. Maybe that's me being unfair. How in the world did Ole Miss squander away a game against Kentucky in which it was a home game? I'm not going to give you too long to think about this. It's another relatively simple answer. Lane Kiffin, the goofy goober himself. If you were to look up the definition of a certified goofy goober, there'd be a picture of Lane Kiffin right next to it. I'm almost certain of it. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. He's a goofball. He's a goof. And what do goofs do? They goof up. And I like Kiffin, and I like him a lot. I actually wanted Alabama to go get him, and I'm still standing 10 toes down on that, even with what he's done at Ole Miss. But good gosh almighty, is that man a goober? And I hate to say it about him, but it's the truth. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Lane Kiffin is nothing more, nothing less than the SEC's version of James Franklin. Now, I know what you may be sitting there saying, well, Matt, you just stated you prefer him to be the head coach of Alabama, and I do. Why did I want Alabama to get him after Nick Saban? It's hard to explain, but I think the greatest example I can give you is it's like that one friend you got you just enjoy being around and you really don't know why. They do some weird things. Y'all may have disagreements every now and then, but that's still your boy, and that's how I feel about Kiffin. Where I'm trying to go with this is I don't mind his antics. I'm going to give you a breakdown of the Kiffin experience. All he had to do this year, I know it's easier said than done, but all he had to do is go 10-2. Ole Miss did not have that difficult of a schedule. The only ranked teams they played were Georgia. Yeah, they didn't have Alabama this year, and, well, LSU, so they had 2 ranked teams. Oh, well, I guess if you're counting South Carolina now, but it kind of cancels out with LSU because now LSU isn't ranked. But either way, not one of the more difficult schedules in the SEC. And here's the kicker. You beat, not Florida, my apologies. You beat Georgia, the hardest ranked team on the schedule. Last year in 2023, all you had to do is go 11-1, and you couldn't do that. You couldn't beat Bama, couldn't beat Georgia, couldn't get over the hump. In 2022, you ended the game on a 4-game losing streak. I'm sure Ole Miss fans remember that one. That one was really embarrassing because before the Alabama game, they were 8-1, and it looked like they had a great shot at making the playoff. 2021, similar story. Can't beat Alabama, and you lose to Auburn, therefore no playoff. Go 10-2 yet again. James Franklin of the SEC. And then all the years before that just weren't even close to being good. Here's my next question, and please let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. How much longer is Ole Miss going to put up with this cornball McGee? It's a really tricky situation because, I'm going to remind some of y'all, Ole Miss doesn't have these standards of an Alabama or even an Auburn for that sake. At Ole Miss, if you can go 7-5, 8-4, occasionally 9-3, 10-2, dude, you're keeping your job. Whereas at like Alabama and Auburn, you got to win 9-10 games per year, and you still might be in the hot seat. So Ole Miss is in a weird position because you can't fire, well, you get what I'm trying to say. You can fire him, but it just wouldn't be smart. So you can't fire Kiffin, like I was saying, but at the same time, it's just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. I feel bad for Ole Miss fans because it seems like you're coming to a dead end. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below.